welcome to Pagan FM, coming to you from South Jersey, the home of the Jersey Devil, and just outside of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. And right now we're doing one of our regular Saturday episodes. I'm sorry I've been away for a while. I'll get back to why in just a bit. Anyway, some updates. We won't be able to do live shows here at Podbean. That's something to do with Podbean. They are no longer allowing that in the future. So I do want to get back to doing live Saturday nights at some point. I'll probably be looking for a way to do that either on the website or through another host for that. I'll keep Podbean as a host for the actual podcast, but I'm going to try and find another way to do actual live episodes where you can tune in while I'm actually doing it. We'll figure out a way to do that at some point in the future and see how that works out. Sorry for the sniffles. I've got allergies and things like that going on, so I just took something for that. Hopefully things work out tonight and that gets a little bit better. But we did open tonight's show with a piece called Begin Again from the Jamie Wyman Band. Jamie is a new artist to Pagan FM, and Begin Again is track 3 from her album Return to the Mothership. Return to the Mothership is as unique an album as I have actually heard or seen. And the entire project is quite unique because it is not only an album, but a tarot deck as well. When I first got the album in the deck, I was thinking that the deck looked a bit more like an oracle deck. But then I noticed there's 22 cards, as there are in the major arcana of the tarot. And there are 22 tracks on the album, one for each card. And each track corresponded with one of the cards. So I thought that's kind of unique. And when I got to looking a bit closer, the cards and the tracks do align quite closely to the actual tarot. It doesn't contain the minor arcana, so if you're looking to use the deck in the same way that you would as like the Rider-Waite deck or something like that, that's not going to happen. But this was a legitimately serious project, and you can legitimately use it for inspiration. And I really have to say hats off to Jamie. I chose Begin Again, or card 2, track 3, which in her deck, again, is Begin Again. In the Rider-Waite tarot deck, this would be the Empress, a card that signifies wisdom and mystery, especially of the feminine sort. I also recently purchased the Philly Tarot, which is an amazing deck as well. And in the Philly Tarot, the Empress bears the image of WHYY host Terry Gross, who's one of the best interviewers that NPR, in my opinion, has ever had. In fact, Terry has been my inspiration as how I like to go about doing interviews. And this was way long before I moved to the Philly area. But all of this stuff actually fits together, and having been absent from doing the program on Saturday nights, this is either going to be Saturday or Sunday night or Sunday when this show actually comes out this weekend. But Begin Again seemed way appropriate. So again, hats off to Jamie and welcome to the show. And we're going to try and schedule an interview with Jamie Wyman at some point in the near future. So, looking at the weather for the South Jersey, Philly area, currently it is around 45 degrees. It's been kind of a rainy Saturday afternoon / evening. Low tonight's going to be around 41 degrees with 100% chance of rain tonight. So if you're in the Philly area, have an umbrella or some sort of rain gear because it's going to be a damp one. Tomorrow, highs are going to be around 54 degrees with a 30% chance of showers. Temperature will drop to around 40 degrees on a mostly clear Sunday night. And on Monday, the sun will be shining again with a high of about 66 degrees. For me, great bicycling weather. Monday night, lows will dip back to about 42 degrees, and on Tuesday, it'll warm up to around 67 with a 20% chance of showers. Tuesday night, we'll see a low of around 40 degrees with continuing chance of shower activity. And on Wednesday, highs of around 65 with showers likely throughout the day, and again on to Wednesday night. So we'll hear a bit of music, and then we're going to get on to our pagan poetry episode, which is what we're going to be doing tonight. Going to be skipping any sort of, political talk. I'm going to try and take things a little bit easier on the political side and focus more on paganism as a whole, trying to keep, my own temper down and focus actually more on the gods and goddesses and my own serenity and things like that. I've been dealing with my own health things, and let's try and live life a little bit better that way and focus on what makes life better for us and for everybody else. So let's get into some music. I think first up we're going to hear Bring the Rain by Shining Wheel Pagan Chorus, because that's where we're at right now.
It's been dry so long, the earth cries out for rain. Though the seasons have changed, the heat still remains as the months drag on. Come gather round, look to the west, raise your hands, all sing and dance, call to the clouds to bring the rain. Oh, bring the rain. Oh, bring the rain. The gathering storm clouds as we look to the sky. It's gonna be alright. The wind takes flight as the rain comes down. Come gather to the west, raise your hands, all sing and dance, call to the clouds to bring the rain. Oh, bring the rain. The water flows around us. It started as a trickle that turned into a stream, that rolled into a river, that flowed into the sea, that took away the desert and made everything so green. So let it rain. Oh, let it rain. Oh, let it rain. Oh, let it rain. Call to the clouds. Let it rain.
Yes, that's the other one. This one's another one of the new batch that's actually one of the old ones that got resurrected. So this will be on the next album. It's called Rain Falls Hard. So love's got you wandering in a January haze, with no tornado warning to help classify these mixed up days. Someone's got you thinking that you'll maybe be okay. Hold on to that every time you gotta watch your baby walk away. And the rain falls hard when he's gone. The radio is blasting. Can you find the strength to sing along? Rain's got a gloomy beauty, but all these goodbyes make the sunlight look wrong. And I'm left holding on. Oh, gather brave young lovers, let me sympathize with you. Comes the night I'll be feeling ghostly arms around me too. Oh, but is this not the life we choose? To being so deep, so torn asunder, and so brave to sing these blues. Yeah, but the rain falls hard when he's gone. The radio is blasting. Can you help me sing along? Rain's got a gloomy beauty, but all these goodbyes make the sunshine seem wrong. And I'm left holding on. And I'm left holding on. Holding on. Holding on. Yeah, I'm holding on. Holding on. Yeah, holding on. Yeah. Oh, the sky falls black when he's here. Rain comes down beautiful, weeds out all the poison and the fear. Oh, five horizons, our sunset it clear. Oh, the rain falls like a lover when he's gone. And I'm left holding on. I'm left dreaming on.
Where will you go behind the rain? Where will you be between wax and wane? Behind the storm, hidden and closed, closed in the world that nobody knows. Frost and fall, star and night, owl and eye between moon and light. North and bare, ice and snow, still in the world that nobody knows. Or go to the place where the lightning sits, where dragons fire, and serpents hiss. I'll go to the place where the lightning sits, where the thunder growls and rain clouds mist. Where will you go, cross and road? Where will you be, between the world, behind the storm, hidden and closed, deep in the world that nobody knows? Sword and edge, witch and craft, river and song, between spell and cast, tree and bough, rook and crow, high in the world that nobody knows. I'll go to the place where the lightning sits, where dragons fire and griffins hiss. I'll go to the place where the lightning sits, where the thunder growls and rain clouds drift. Where will you go, lock and see? Where will you be, between willow and tree, behind the rain, hidden and closed, fierce in the world that nobody knows? Hoof and horn, grass and moor, gate and way, between vale and door, salt and sea, henge and stone, hidden in the world that nobody knows. Go to the place where the lightning sits, where the thunder growls and rain clouds hiss. I'll go to the place where the lightning sits, where griffins fire and dragons wish. I'll go to the place where the lightning sits, where dragons growl. I'll go to the place where the lightning sits. Go to the place where the lightning sits. Go to the place where the lightning sits. Go to the place where the lightning sits.
Okay, so tonight is a pagan poetry episode, and I wanted to start with something that's been on my mind a bit. I've been actually considering doing this on one of my bike riding episodes, and it just hasn't worked out. So some years ago, there was this book that came out called Out of the Broom Closet, and it was an anthology edited by Erin Murphy Hiscock back in 2009, published by Adams Media. And I was one of around 50 authors, not including Erin. And I mentioned a creed that I'd written. This was, my teacher at the time had me write this. And so what she wanted was what I believed at the time. So in my mind, creeds should be statements of what we believe. But in the Christian church, they become something different. Rather than being descriptive, they become prescriptive. They aren't describing what most Christians do believe. They are instead telling them what to believe. The beliefs of most Christian churches don't come about from some sort of organic relationship with deity. They're instead an enforced dogma, which, if strayed from, result in accusations of heresy and possible expulsion from a church. I wrote my creed differently. Instead of the Christian sort that I grew up with, it was a snapshot of what I believed at the time, with the intention that I should examine it periodically and reevaluate my beliefs. Sadly, when I left my belongings in New Hampshire, when I moved here, I lost it, and I lost many of my belongings. That was one of the things that was there, along with some computers and other things. Long story. But I tried to recreate it, or at least something similar. And I did it in the form of a creation myth, which I now present in the form of some sort of creed. It's somewhere between prose and poetry, and I'm going to use that to kick off our pagan poetry evening. In the beginning was the void, and in the void the goddess stirred the cauldron of creation. Within the cauldron was the mist, the substance from which all substance is made. In due time, when the cauldron was ready, the goddess ignited the fires of creation and set the cauldron to boil, and poured out its contents into the void. The mist burst forth from the cauldron, filling and stretching the void in every direction. As the mist spread forth in the void, swirls and eddies began to appear, and the mist began to cool. And as the swirling mist spread and cooled, pockets coalesced into condensed matter. Galaxies formed, stars ignited with planets swirling around them, comets, meteors, and all that fill the heavens awoke in a nascent universe. Yet the goddess was alone in the midst of creation, and so she made more like unto herself. And the gods and goddesses came to being, those we know not, those we remember, those we forgot, and those we may yet come to know. And one day the goddess looked upon our earth and said, how lovely it might be if life sprang forth here. And once again she stirred a mist within her cauldron, this time a mist of life, and poured it out upon the earth, and the earth came forth, first simple life. And on the earth came forth first simple life, then plants and simple creatures. And then the goddess stirred the life of the earth so that human life might evolve. And simple creatures became more complex, from chordates to great apes to humans who could know the gods and goddesses. And then the goddess said to the other goddesses and gods, would it not be good if woman and man might know us? Not to render us worship or obeisance, but to understand that we love and care for them, and wish for them to grow in dignity and grace and strength. And the goddesses and gods agreed, and they gave us the ability to know them. And we were able to see the goddesses and the gods, some in our dreams, some in our visions, some with our eyes. But not all humans are wise and good. And some humans took the knowledge of the gods and goddesses and used it to control others. Some tried to claim that only one god was real, that men were better than women, that certain people were better than others. Some of the gods and goddesses regretted their decision. Some have hidden their wisdom from most humans. Some wait for the day when humans will be worthy to know the goddesses and gods in fullness of truth and light. And that's where I got to before I started writing tonight. And to me, again, this is a myth. This is a metaphor. And I tried not to exclude science from it. One part I wish I had written that I hadn't yet, that I was thinking about how to include, is how to include other sexes and genders, because sex and gender aren't binaries, and I haven't worked that in there yet. And I've been thinking about doing it in the format that I've heard some Native Americans do it. I heard one woman say this so lovely, that there are boys born boys, and there are boys born girls, and there are girls born boys, and there are girls born girls. And even that doesn't really touch the idea of two spirits, but there is so much variety beyond just male and female, and I want to work that in there. But this is part of what I'm writing. So I think that writing your own creed or your own creation myth is something I encourage everyone to do. If you're journaling or if you have a book of shadows, I encourage you to do this as part of your practice. It's certainly something you can do if you're using Pagan FM as a learning tool for your own pagan practice. I'd like to know how you're working it, how you look at creeds and creation myths and things like that. How do you view the universe? How do you view beginnings and origins? I haven't gotten into a biogenesis here. That's something that I've been thinking about as I've been trying to write this. I haven't really looked at how did life totally begin. I don't claim, as Christianity does, that any God is necessarily responsible for life's origins. What I'm trying to get into here is that it happened. And I haven't gotten into what happens afterwards when we die. I personally believe that there is something after death. I've looked at, years ago, there was a book written by Ian Stevenson. I believe he was a psychiatrist with the University of Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. And he wrote this book called 20 Cases Suggestive of Reincarnation. And what was really interesting was that he wrote this prior to the internet. And he was talking to people who really didn't have access to extensive libraries and extensive tools for research, mostly younger children who were recounting lives that they had no way of understanding. And again, anecdote isn't, well, not again, but anecdote isn't necessarily evidence, but anecdote can be at least suggestive. Here's another example of anecdote. Many years ago, well, some years ago, when I was doing Pagan FM on the air at WSCA, my co-host and I were doing a broadcast from a psychic metaphysical fair up in Augusta, Maine. And I think it was a Saturday night, and we'd stopped off to get some pizza after the fair, after the day's activities. And one of our party had asked someone at the pizza place if they had feta cheese. And snarkily, the girl behind the counter said, "Well, aren't you from that psychic event going on?" And she said yes. And this girl goes, "Well, why don't you know already?" Thinking, she kind of got an own. Well, around the same time, this man had come in. He'd already bought his pizza and left, and he couldn't find his credit card. So they're looking all around this pizza place. And I just had this vision in my head of his credit card being right between his seat and the edge of the door of his car. So I told him this. I said, I think if you go out to your car and you open your door, you're going to see it right there next to the seat on the floor of your car. So we go out, and he's just saying he's going to have to cancel his credit card, and on and on and on. He opens his door, and there's the car. And we make our way back into this pizza place. And he said it was right where she said it was going to be. And these people in the pizza place are looking just a little bit different and a little bit surprised. Again, that is not evidence that some sort of psychic ability exists. I can come up with a perfectly rational explanation for why that card was there. He picked up his pizza, he put his receipt and the credit card on top of the box. He got in his car. The box tipped as he was moving it over, say, to the passenger seat of the car, and it fell. There's a perfectly good reason why it was there. What's beyond is why I had an image of that in my mind and why it showed up exactly where I thought it should be. It could have fallen anywhere on the ground. It could have fallen in the store when you open the door to the store. It could have been anywhere. I just happened to see it in my mind's eye at the time. Is that evidence? Technically, it's anecdote, but it's enough evidence for me. And I think that's where faith comes in, and where it comes in as poetry is it is a way to express this not only in a form of content, but to express it emotionally, to express not only the things that we're feeling, but the emotions that go with them when we want to explain it to somebody else. Anyway, right now, I think it's time to hear a little more music, and then we'll get a little bit deeper into our poetry episode. So let's hear a little more music.
Yay, I'm going to get funky now. I'm going to do some funky poetry. Some funky poetry. Let's see. How funky do I want to be? Okay. We'll do the other part of the love song now. This one's probably going to evolve into a song at some point. It hasn't gotten there yet. It's called Fire. Fire, fire. Enjoy. Somewhere out southwest of love, and I'm sidling up to it. Gonna storm the nearest border, 'cause I swore someday I'd do it. I'll step out on the other side, release this hurt I've had to hide. I'll have come to dance inside your fire. My lady's tale will soon unfold. I try to do as she's foretold. Move out, load up, drive off, be bold, and dance inside your fire. Sitting in on reggae, my drum between my knees. Downtown Memphis, New Orleans. It's a walk in the rain in my father's jeans till next we dance in fire. I can't sit still for the changes coming, riding rapids as I'm strumming, composing as I'm hunting, humming, calling up your fire. Come and render your loving up to me. Unravel the miles that make us free. This too shall pass, and then we'll see. Our path was through this fire. Southwest of love, and I'm sliding beneath it, checking for traps just before I release it. This war's underway now, and nothing will ease it. Since I fell for you by fire, my baptism by fire, come and dance inside my fire. I am calling on your fire. Yeah, this is a short one. This is called "Oh, That I Were a Man," after Beatrice in Much Ado. It's about a relationship that went very, very sour very, very quickly. But, the quicker, the better, because there's less pain. I could not be an androgyne. My curves are just over too sharp to be hidden, too sharp not to twist, not to quicken to the cut. Is this wrong? The shadows of my face are gaunt as any boy goth, and my ribs as evident, my eyes as hard, but here it is, I'm stuck to be she. Gay love gone wrong, notwithstanding, etc. Do you mind so much? I've a hole instead of a stick. I'm still sick. I promise.
Where do we come from and where do we go? Don't ask me 'cause I don't know. But there is one thing that I can say. We gotta wake up and change our ways.
And that was S.J. Tucker with some funky poetry, or it was funky poetry by S.J. from Tales from the Road. And then we heard Todd Allen with Today from his album Earth Changes. So before we go any further, what is poetry? Some people associate poetry with rhyme, but poetry doesn't necessarily have to rhyme. My creation myth, what I just read, doesn't rhyme, nor does poetry necessarily need a particular meter. Again, that myth doesn't have a particular meter. So, what is poetry? I define poetry as the art of conveying meaning with words, combined with the artistic use of such tools as rhythm, rhyme, alliteration, meter, and whatever other tools the poet may wish to employ in her craft to evoke mood and meaning. In my mind, poetry is music, where the choice of words and whatever other tools the poet uses, meter, rhythm, flow, intonation, that's what provides the accompanying music. And just as music itself has had many forms, from folk to classical to rock to punk, hip-hop, beyond, so does poetry, from haiku to sonnets to concrete poetry, free verse, odes, elegies, acrostics, and so many more. Tonight, we're not focusing on particular forms of poetry so much as the connection of the poets to paganism and the occult. And along the way, we'll look at how some of these poets might have influenced some of our pagan musical artists as well. We just heard some from S.J. Tucker. And some of my favorite musicians, including people like S.J. and Dave the Bard and so many others, are poets in their own right. So what is the purpose of poetry? Is it an art form, something reserved from people with arts degrees, or is it something for all of us? I'm glad that the schools that I attended in my younger years presented me with a variety of poetry from around the world. Some of the students didn't appreciate it as much as I did, but I'm glad that I had that experience. We read everything from like anonymous Scottish poetry to Whittier, Yeats, Dickinson, Plath, Whitman, Frost, Poe, and many others. And now where I'm living here in South Jersey, so close to Philadelphia, it's like I'm living where some of the people that I loved reading actually lived. Even in New Hampshire, though, there was Robert Frost. So I was close to it there. I'm close to it now. And I began to write some of my own poetry. So what's the purpose of poetry? I think that there are as many purposes of poetry as there are poets. We write because we're compelled to write, but that may not be all. Once a poem's written, it gains in purpose when it's read. Some poems and some stories are written to teach, and indeed some poetry, especially poetry that rhymes, is not only easier to remember, but it helps to enhance our ability to remember. If you'd like to improve your own memory, one way to do that is to start learning poetry. But beyond being simply an art form, it's been used as a teaching tool. Recording history, religion, and even laws have been purposes for poetry. So I think now, let's see, there was one thing by Yeats, supernatural songs. Maybe I'll get through all of them. So Riv at the tomb of Baal and Alan, because you have found me in the pitch dark night, with open book you ask me what I do. Mark and digest my tale, carry it afar, to those that never saw this tonsured head, nor heard this voice that 90 years have cracked. Of Baal and Alan you need not speak. All know their tale, all know what leaf and twig, what juncture of the apple and the yew surmount their bones, but speak what none have heard. the miracle that gave them such a death, transfigured to pure substance what had once been bone and sinew. When such bodies join, there is no touching here, nor touching there, nor straining joy, but whole is joined to whole, for the intercourse of angels is a light. Where for its moment both seem lost, consumed, here in the pitch-dark atmosphere above, the trembling of the apple and yew, here on the anniversary of their death, the anniversary of their first embrace, those lovers purified by tragedy hurry into each other's arms. These eyes, by water, herb, and solitary prayer, made aquiline, are open to that light. Though somewhat broken by the leaves, that light lies in a circle on the grass. Therein I turn the pages of my holy book. 2. Rave denounces Patrick. An abstract Greek absurdity has crazed the man. Recall that masculine trinity, man, woman, child, a daughter, or a son. That's how all natural or supernatural stories run. Natural and supernatural with the self-same ring are wed. As man, as beast, as an ephemeral fly begets, Godhead begets Godhead. For these things below are copies, the great Smaragdine tablet said. Yet all must copy copies, all increase their kind, when the conflagration of their passion sinks, dampened by the body or the mind, that juggling nature mounts her coil in their embraces twined. The mirror-scaled serpent is multiplicity, but all that run in couples on earth, in flood or air, share God that is but there, and could beget or bear themselves, could they but love as he. 3. Reeve in ecstasy. What matter that you understood no word? Doubtless I spoke or sang what I had heard. In broken sentences my soul has found all happiness in its own cause or ground. Godhead on Godhead in sexual spasm begot. Godhead, somehow shadow fell, my soul forgot those amorous cries that out of quiet come, and must the common round of day resume. 4. There all the barrel hoops are knit. There all the serpent tails are bit. There all the gyres converge in one. There all the planets drop in the sun. 5. Reeve considers love insufficient. Why should I seek for love or study it, if God and passes... I'm going to restart this one. 5. Reeve considers Christian love insufficient. Why should I seek for love and study it? Is it of God and passes human wit? I study hatred with great diligence, for that's a passion in my own control, a sort of besom that can clear the soul of everything that is not of mind and sense. Why do I hate man or woman or event? That is a light my jealous soul has sent. From terror and deception freed it can discover impurities, can show at last how soul may walk when all such things are past, how soul could walk before such things began. Then my delivered soul herself shall learn a darker knowledge, and in hatred turn from every thought of God mankind has had. Thought is a garment, and the soul's a bride that cannot in that trash and tinsel hide. Hatred of God may bring the soul to God. At stroke of midnight, soul cannot endure a body or mental furniture. What can she take until her master give? Where can she look until he make the show? What can she know until he bid her know? How can she live till in her blood he live? 6. He and she. As the moon sidles up, must she sidle up. As trips the scarred moon, away she must trip. His light has struck me blind. Dared I stop? She sings as the moon sings. I am I, am I. The greater grows my light, the further that I fly. All creation shivers with that sweet cry. 7. What magic drum he holds from his desire, all but stops his breathing, lest primordial motherhood forsake his limbs. The child no longer rests, drinking joy as it were milk upon his breast. Through light obliterating garden foliage, what magic drum? Down limb and breast, or down that glimmering belly, move his mouth and sinewy tongue. What from the forest came? What breast has licked its young? 8. Whence had they come? Eternity is passion, girl or boy, cry at the onset of their sexual joy. Forever and forever, then awake, ignorant what dramatis personae spake. A passion-driven, exultant man sings out sentences that he has never thought. The flagellant lashes those submissive loins, ignorant what that dramatist enjoins. What master made the lash, whence they had come, the hand and lash that beat down frigid Rome, what sacred drama through her body heaved, when world-transforming Charlemagne was conceived. 9. The 4 ages of man. He with body waged a fight, but body won, it walks upright. Then he struggled with the heart, innocence and peace depart. Then he struggled with the mind, his proud heart he left behind. Now his wars on God begin. At stroke of midnight, God shall win. 10. Conjunctions. If Jupiter and Saturn meet, what a cop of mummy wheat. The swords across, thereon he died. On breast of Mars the goddess sighed. 11. A needle's eye. All the stream that's roaring by came out of a needle's eye. Things unborn, things that are gone, from needle's eye still goad it on. 12. Miru. Civilization is hooped together, brought under rule, under the semblance of peace, by manifold illusion, but man's life is thought, and he, despite his terror, cannot cease, ravening through century after century, ravening, raging, and uprooting that he may come into the desolation of reality. Egypt and Greece, goodbye, and goodbye Rome. Hermits upon Mount Meru or Everest, caverned in night under the drifted snow, or where that snow and winter's dreadful blast beat down upon their naked bodies. No, that day brings round the night, that before dawn his glory and his monuments are gone. So, where are we? So, Yeats was not a fan of Christianity, and some of that comes through here. This was actually a critique of a Christian version, or his idea of Christian doctrine and a Christian version of love. And Yeats was very much a proponent of Irish culture and did not like at all what Christianity had done in Ireland, especially Christianity through the Church of England. And it kind of shows through in this poetry. And whether Yeats was a pagan or an atheist, or whether the Christian church thought him a pagan because he was an atheist, who knows? But either way, it shows through in his poetry. And I think Ireland has a good reason to be proud of him, and I'm sorry I didn't do him all the justice that I should have in the reading. I didn't practice it nearly enough. But I do like his poetry, and it goes a lot better in my head than it does sometimes when I'm trying to speak it. But let's hear a little more music, and then I'm going to go into some more poetry by one of my favorites, Doreen Valenti. But for now, a little more music, and then we'll get into a little more poetry. We're coming up on the hour here, and I think it's a good time for a break.
I who am the beauty of the green earth and white moon, from among the stars and the mysteries of the waters, the desire of the heart of man calls unto thy soul. Arise and come unto me, for I am the soul of nature. of desire.
Sunset, moonrise, and see how the land is bathed in silver hue. You feel so lonely. Come with me and let me show there are others just like you, who feel the powers of earth, sea and sky, of dragon and fairy and shades of the night. Hear the call of our ancestors of blood and bone, of womb and tomb and standing stone. Lady, stir your cauldron well, chant your words and sing your spell. Deep within this darkened hall, hear the goddess Ceridwen call. See a man alone on a hill, his arms raised high to the moon, chanting words, a charm, a spell of power, a witch's rune. He calls to the powers of earth, sea and sky, of dragon and fairy and shades of the night. He calls to his ancestors of blood and bone, of womb and tomb and standing stone. Lady, stir your cauldron well, chant your words and sing your spell. Deep within this darkened hall, hear the goddess Ceridwen call. Come and taste of the cauldron's brew and magic she will give to you. You will dance in the eye of the storm, your Ceridwen's children, the cauldron born. A charm of silver, the gypsy said when he was just 17. Your future I'll tell you, every thread and turn, if they're to be seen. She took his hands, tracing the lines, searching for patterns and looking for signs. Your life a construction, one day you will see. Through the illusion and into the dream. Lady, stir your cauldron well, chant your words and sing your spell. Deep within this darkened hall, hear the goddess Ceridwen call. Come and taste of the cauldron's brew and magic she will give to you. You will dance in the eye of the storm, your Ceridwen's children, the cauldron born. So we stand on this hill shadows are cast by the moon, chanting words, our charm, our spell of power, our witch's rune. We call to the powers of earth, sea and sky, of dragon and fairy and shades of the night. We call to our ancestors of blood and bone, of womb and tomb and standing stone. Lady, stir your cauldron well, chant your words and sing your spell. Deep within this darkened hall, hear the goddess Ceridwen call. Come and taste of the cauldron's brew and magic she will give to you. You will dance in the eye of the storm, your Ceridwen's children, the cauldron born. Oh lady, stir your cauldron well, chant your words and sing your spell. Deep within this darkened hall, hear the goddess Ceridwen call. Come and taste of the cauldron's brew and magic she will give to you. You will dance in the eye of the storm, your Ceridwen's children, the cauldron born. You're the cauldron born, cauldron born. Oh, we're the cauldron born, cauldron born. Oh, we're the cauldron
born. We just heard Jenna Green with Soul of Nature from her album Crossroads, and what I like about Soul of Nature, so that actually comes from Doreen Valenti's Charge of the Goddess. So it kind of fits in here and with what we're going to be doing next. And then we heard Dave the Bard's Cauldron Born. Again, Dave, also a very poetic songwriter. But right now I'm going to be looking at a couple pieces by Doreen Valenti. Starting out with The Witch's Chant, and S.J. Tucker did The Witch's Rune, also heavily influenced by Doreen Valenti's work. But The Witch's Chant, you'll hear some echoes of S.J. Tucker here. But Darksome Night and Shining Moon, Hell's Dark Mistress, Heaven's Queen, Hearken to the Witch's Rune, Diana Lilith, Melusine, Queen of Witchdom and of Night, work my will by magic right. Earth and water, air and fire, conjured by the witch's blade, move you unto my desire. Aid ye as the charm is made. Queen of Witchdom and of Night, work my will by magic right. In the earth and air and sea, by the light of moon or sun, as I pray so mote it be, chant the spell and be it done. Queen of Witchdom and of Night, work my will by magic right. And again, that's the Witch's Chant. And here we're seeing rhyme being used to cast a spell. And what this is doing is it's actually adding something to the spell by adding rhyme. And it's not the fact that rhyming words inherently add something to the spell. I think it's more the effort when you're actually creating something that you're putting more energy to it. It's more the effort of the poet and the energy that's being put into making something that rhymes, the the energy of the poet as opposed to just the speaker. Anybody can read something, and it doesn't take any more effort to read something that rhymes than it does to read something that doesn't rhyme. But there's a lot more work that goes into making something with rhyme and meter than there is in just a piece of prose. And I think that's where the energetic work is involved. The next one that by Doreen is what she called the Witch's Creed. And again, in paganism, we don't so much have creeds in the same form that Christianity had creeds. So take this in a different sense. This isn't something where it's a declaration that pagans have to believe this. But she wrote, "Hear now the words of the witches, the secrets we hid in the night, when dark was our destiny's pathway that now we bring forth in light. Mysterious water and fire, the earth and the wide-ranging air, by hidden quintessence we know them, and will keep silence and dare. The birth and rebirth of all nature, the passing of winter and spring we share with the life universal, rejoice in the magical ring. 4 times in the year the great Sabbath returns, and the witches are seen at Lammas and Candlemas dancing, on May Eve and Old Halloween, when daytime and nighttime are equal, when the sun is at greatest and least, the 4 lesser Sabbaths are summoned, and again witches gather in feast. 13 silver moons in a year are, 13 is the coven's array, 13 times as aspects make merry, for each golden year and a day. The power was passed down the ages, each time between woman and man, each century unto the other, ere time and the ages began. When drawn is the magical circle by sword or thame or power, its compass between the 2 worlds lies in the land of the shades for that hour. The world has no right then to know it, and world of beyond will tell not. The oldest of gods are invoked there, the great work of magic is wrought. For 2 are the mystical pillars that stand at the gate of the shrine, and the 2 are the powers of nature, the forms and the forces divine, the dark and the light in succession, the opposites each unto each, shone forth as a god and a goddess. On this did our ancestors teach. By night he's the wild wind's rider, the horned old one, the lord of the shades. By day he's the king of the woodland, the dweller in green forest glades. She is youthful or old as she pleases. She sails the torn clouds in her bark. The bright silver lady of midnight, the crone who weaves spells in the dark. The master and mistress of magic, they dwell in deeps of the mind, immortal and ever renewing, with power to free or unbind. So drink the good wine to the old gods, and dance and make love in their praise, till Elfame's fair land shall receive us in peace at the end of our days. And do what you will be the challenge, so be it in love that harms none. For this is our only commandment, by magic of old be it done. 8 words the witch's creed fulfill. If it harms none, do what you will. And that pretty much sums up what Wicca is. Again, in poetry. And I don't know that I have anything to add to that. I don't know. I think it's, let's see, how would I say this? I think some people could, especially Christians, could look at that and complain a bit, but I certainly can't. I think what winds up happening is it's kind of funny because I heard something recently where um, somebody in the Trump administration, somebody that, I don't know if it was a recent hire or whatever, somebody that he just hired for a cabinet position, was complaining that this town in California had been given over to witches, and they were just just complaining that one of the Wiccan commandments or whatever is do what you will. And I think if you look at any religion from the outside, you can find something to complain about, and especially the do what thou wilt. It, if you're looking at it from the outside, it can seem totally permissive, and it's really not. But this likewise, if you take any part of the Bible and you can look at it and it can be construed absolutely horribly. It can be construed absolutely great. I think what winds up destroying any religion is the practitioners of that religion and how they interpret the scriptures. I've often said there is not one single Christian denomination that isn't declared heretical by at least one other Christian denomination. There's not one religion on this planet that isn't declared abominable by at least one other religion on this planet. And that's just the way it is. And the problem is that every religion on earth contains people. And some of those people in every single religion on this earth are just horrible people. And there are people in every single religion on this planet who have used the religion that they practice to hurt and abuse other people. Does that mean the religion itself is horrible? Absolutely not. It's the individuals who have used those religions to hurt and harm other people who have been the problem. I don't think Christianity is necessarily horrible. I don't think that paganism is necessarily better than every other religion in the world. I think it is the one that fits me right now where I am. I think it's the one, it's where I should be. It's where I should have been. I've dealt with a lot of religious trauma in my life, and I've dealt with a lot of religious guilt in my life. And sometimes I have run back to Christianity out of that guilt. And I'm not doing that anymore. This is my home. This is where I got called back to. It's where I belong. And I like the fact that I've got a spiritual... Oh, I forgot to tell you. I found, in all places, Glendora, New Jersey. I found the Pagan Chronicle, which is an amazing little 6 times a year newspaper type publication. Look for it online if you'd like. And I found that just about a mile from where I live is this little place called Venus Moon, which is a marvelous little crystal shop, but has a lot of great little things going on. And I pretty much ride within, just a few yards of it every day when I go to work and every day when I bicycle back. So I'll be spending some more time there. So I've been looking for more community, and that's one place where I'm sure I'm going to be able to find it. That's also where I found the Philly tarot deck that I mentioned earlier. But anyways, I am rambling a little bit, but I think what we'll do is we'll listen to a little more music, and then we'll hear back from some more poetry, some by Robert Frost and others.
Mama goes to circle, Grandma goes to mass. My teacher's got the 10 Commandments posted in our class. And when we study science, oh, I don't know what to think.
Okay, so that was Three Weird Sisters with 6 Days from their album Right the First Time. A little bit of snark there, which I was kind of given what we were just talking about. So, you mentioned Robert Frost a little bit ago, and coming from New Hampshire, Robert Frost was kind of the local hero, I guess kind of similar to the way Edgar Allan Poe and so many other poets are here, like Walt Whitman and others from this area. This is the Black Cottage. We chanced in passing by that afternoon to catch it in a sort of special picture among tar-banded ancient cherry trees set well back from the road in rank lodged grass. The little cottage we were speaking of, a front with just a door between two windows, fresh painted by the shower, a velvet black. We paused, the minister and I, to look. He made as if to hold it at arm's length, or put the leaves aside that framed it in. Pretty, he said. Come in, no one will care. The path was a vague parting in the grass that led us to a weathered window sill. We pressed our faces to the pane. You see, he said, everything's as she left it when she died. Her sons won't sell the house or the things in it. They say they mean to come and summer there, where they were boys. They haven't come this year. They live so far away. One is out west. It will be hard for them to keep their word. Anyway, they won't have the place disturbed. A buttoned haircloth lounge spread scrolling arms under a crayon portrait on the wall, done sadly from an old daguerreotype. That was the father as he went to war. She always, when she talked about war, sooner or later, came and leaned, half knelt, against the lounge beside it, though I doubt if such unlifelike lines kept power to stir anything in her after all the years. He fell at Gettysburg or Fredericksburg. I ought to know. It makes a difference which. Fredericksburg wasn't Gettysburg, of course. But what I'm getting to is how forsaken a little cottage like this has always seemed, since she went more than ever but before. I don't mean altogether by the lives that had gone out of it, the father first, then the two sons, till she was left alone. Nothing could draw her after those two sons. She valued the considerate neglect. She had at some cost taught them after years. I mean by the words having passed by, as we almost got by this afternoon. It always seems to me a sort of mark, to measure how far 50 years have brought us. Why not sit down if you are in no haste? These doorsteps seldom have a visitor. The warping boards pull out their old nails, with none to tread and put them in their place. She had her own idea of things, the old lady, and she liked to talk. She had seen Garrison and Whittier, and had her story of them. One wasn't long in learning that she thought, whatever else the Civil War was for, it wasn't just to keep the states together, nor just to free the slaves, though it did both. She wouldn't have believed those ends enough to have given outright for them all she gave. Her giving somehow touched the principle that all men are created free and equal, and to hear her quaint phrases so removed from the world's view today of all those things, that's a hard mystery of Jefferson's. What did he mean? Of course, the easy way is to decide simply isn't true. It may not be. I heard a fellow say so. But never mind, the Welshman's got it planted, where it will trouble us 1,000 years. Each age will have to reconsider it. You couldn't tell her what the West was saying, and what the South, to her serene belief, She had some art of hearing and yet not, hearing the later hearing the later wisdom of the world. White was the only race she ever knew, black she had scarcely seen, and yellow never. But how could they be made so very unlike? But how could they be made so very unlike by the same hand working in the same stuff? She had supposed the war decided that. What are you going to do with such a person? Strange how innocence gets its own way. I shouldn't be surprised if in this world it were the force that would at last prevail. Do you know, but for her, there was a time when to please younger members of the church, or rather say non-members in the church, whom we all have to think of nowadays, I would have changed the creed very little. Not that she ever had to ask me not to. It never got so far as that. But the bare thought of her old tremulous bonnet in the pew and of her half asleep was too much for me. Why, I might wake her up and startle her. It was the words descended into Hades that seemed too pagan to our liberal youth. You know, she suffered from a general onslaught. And well, if they weren't true, why keep right on? Why keep right on saying them like the heathen? We could drop them, only there was the bonnet in the pew. Such a phrase couldn't have meant much to her, but suppose she had missed it from the creed, as a child misses the unsaid good night and falls asleep with heartache. How should I feel? I'm just glad she made me keep hands off, for dear me, why abandon a belief merely because it ceases to be true? Cling to it long enough, and not a doubt, it will turn true again. For so it goes, most of the change we think we see in life is due to truths being in and out of favor. As I sit here, and oftentimes I wish I could be monarch of a desert land, I could devote and dedicate forever to the truths we keep coming back and back to. So desert it would have to be, so walled by mountain ranges, half in summer snow, no one would covet it or think it worth the pains of conquering to force change on. Scattered oases where men dwelt, but mostly sand dunes held loosely in tamarisk, blown over and over themselves in idleness. Sand grains should sugar in the natal dew, the babe born to the desert, the sandstorm. Retard mid-waste my cowering caravans. There are bees in this wall, he struck the clapboards. Fierce heads looked out, small bodies pivoted. We rose to go. Sunset blazed on the windows, or ever and a day. I'm getting a little tired, so I didn't read that as well as I should have. But what struck me with that was the idea that this one lady in the pew held this minister who was expressing his own doubts about, again, the creed and how he's recognizing that what he sees as true today or sees as not true today, he did in the past, or he might again in the future, and how it's an ephemeral thing, and how so there is this thing in among atheists, and that there are actually a number of people who are atheists but are actually practicing Christian ministers. And they do it because it is their job and not because they believe. And for some of them actually find good deal of trouble in this. They're actually bothered by it. But they feel trapped. And there's a small community of these people. And I'm wondering if Robert Frost might have known such a person and might have been inspired to write something of this because of that. Or maybe he suspected it. I don't know. I think he recognized that not all preachers believe everything they preach. And again, this is one reason why I am glad, as both a Quaker and as a pagan, is that I can look at things like the creed that I wrote, like the writings of Dorian Valenti, and recognize some things as beautiful metaphor, but still hold on to the idea that there is something beyond this life, some spark of divine in the universe that I call goddess, and I can call them by name, and I can believe there's a goddess out there, that I can believe there's something in the universe that actually cares about me. Not in the Christian sense of Jesus and God and all of that, but something that recognizes that we're alive and that we're valuable and precious. Even if this part of the universe that recognizes us doesn't necessarily, in the form of Christian miracles and things like that, always go out and intervene. There's a reason why you don't hear, Christians will say that, oh yes, God has regrown arms and legs and raised people from the dead. You never find that person that's happened to, but they'll say, oh yes, it happens. Do we see the people that it's happened to? Not so much. So we don't make that same sort of claim in paganism. But we can still know that there is something going on. There's some action behind the scenes. And that's what I appreciate. Anyway, I think we'll take one more music break. And then I've got just a couple more short poems by a couple other pagan poets. And then we'll close up.
You who have lived out your life and its changes, save a place in heaven for me. I was like you once, I walked in the deep shade, but I can't see the forest or the trees. In ocean to cloud-misted hillside, Gaia, she makes a good rain. The forested climax was pointing toward heaven eons before Jesus came. But who will remember to speak of the old ones? Who will remember was like you once. I walked in the deep shade, but all the old ones are gone. Sweatshops and chain gangs that made up the old life have all become high-tech arcades. Armored in business and far from the source point, they say to the forest, spread your legs. But who will remember to speak of the old ones? Who will remember when the old ones are gone? I was like you once. I walked in the deep shade, but all the old ones are gone. You who have lived out your life and its changes, forget that place in heaven for me. I've seen too many clear cuts, too many landslides to lay on my hands and heal. Who will remember to speak of the old ones? Who will remember when the old ones are gone? I was like you once. I walked in the deep shade, but all the old ones are gone. All the old ones are gone. All the old ones are gone. All the old ones are gone.
All right, so I've got a few more here. So the first is The Easter Flower by Claude McKay. Far from this foreign Easter, damp and chilly, my soul steals to a pear-shaped plot of ground where gleamed the lilac-tinted Easter lily, soft-scented in the air for yards around, alone without a hint of guardian leaf. Just like a fragile bell of silver rhyme, it burst the tomb for freedom sweet and brief in the young pregnant year at Easter time. And many thought it was a sacred sign, and some called it the resurrection flower. And I, a pagan, worshipped at its shrine, yielding my heart unto its perfumed power. The second is by George Orwell, the pagan. So here are you, and here am I, where we may thank our gods to be, above the earth, beneath the sky, naked souls alive and free. The autumn wind goes rustling by and stirs the stubble at our feet. Out of the west it whispering blows, stops to caress and onward goes, brings its earthy odors sweet. See with what pride the setting sun, king-like in gold and purple dyes, and like a robe of rainbow spun, tinges the earth with shades divine. That mystic light is in your eyes, and ever in your heart will shine. Here is Pagan Prayer by Eaton Langford. Save me from the dark, make me like a lark, show me what is fair to allay my care. Take me from the deep, show me how to keep all I have on earth, fit for my rebirth. And I'm not sure who this last one is by, but it was, oh, there it is, by William Masonis. And it is a pagan devotional for sunset. Farewell to this day's gifted light. Welcome now to starshine bright. The wheel turns on as earth spins about. We ask for harmony, within, without. And yeah, I think, as I said before, I'm going to forgo the political stuff for a bit and focus more on paganism and things that don't get my blood boiling. It's better for my own health. I've got some things going on that are demanding my attention health-wise, so serenity is in order. Next week coming up, though, I'll have a Beltane episode ready. So that's the next Sabbath coming up. And we're going to look forward to that. Finishing up tonight, though, I want to call your attention to our friends Frenchy and the Punk, or Samantha and Scott. And they've been entertaining the pagan community and the festival community for a good few years now, pretty much since I started doing Pagan FM. And Sam recently got a diagnosis of stage 2 breast cancer. She's been public about that. It's been on, they wrote about it on Facebook, and they've reached out to the community with a GoFundMe link. And as you can imagine, being an entertainer does not come with a regular benefits package. That's one of the reasons I'm still working a full-time job. But as they are entertainers, I think that if we appreciate their work, it would be good if we can support them however we can. And that can include purchasing their music, and if we can, tossing something into the hat. So on the Pagan FM links page, there's a link to their GoFundMe page to help Sam beat cancer and get back on the stage. I am not collecting anything through Pagan FM directly. That link goes directly to their GoFundMe page. So if you want to find that link, go to PaganFM.com and click on links, and there's a link right there that goes directly to their page. I've had a couple people very dear to me go through cancer treatment, and I can say that with Sam, I am glad that they seem to have caught it relatively early, and I'm really hopeful that we'll see her on the stage again soon. So let's send her some love and light and some strength for Scott, that things go well. It's in the hands of the God and the Goddess right now. Prayers to Bridget and whatever deities that you go to for healing and for strength. I'm sure they can use it all. And if you haven't heard her song, Yes, I'm French, I find it a little bit amusing that I'm living in New Jersey now, and she mentions New Jersey in that song. So I'm going to play that, and I'm going to play one of their newer pieces as well. And that's how I'm going to close out the show tonight. So anyway, we're going to close with Scott and Sam. You can find, if you find them on Facebook, you can find a link to the GoFundMe page there. If you can't find it there, you can find it on PaganFM.com. Go to the links page and help out however you can. And with that, I'm going to say blessed be and call this an episode. So, blessed be.
When I came to America, what a land to behold. All was so different, so big and so bold. I was merely a young girl, just 10 years old, with a very strong accent and a rather large nose. Yes, I'm French, don't hold it against me. Si vous parlez français, won't you come my way? Yes, I'm French, don't hold it against me. I was teased at school and dressed kinda strange. By the time I was in college, I was slightly deranged. Cultural confusion just got worse with time. With age, I say to hell with it, and I drink lots of wine. Yes, I'm French, but don't hold it against me. Si vous parlez français, won't you come my way? Yes, I'm French, but don't hold it against me. I'm also half British, confusing but true. Imagine the inner turmoil I went through. When those jokers served up freedom fries, I saw Lady Liberty rolling her eyes. Yes, I'm French, but don't hold it against me. Si vous parlez français, won't you come my way? Yes, I'm French, but don't hold it against me. Now for a living I sing and I dance. I travel the country and soon back to France. Well, my accent is gone, so sad it makes me. But the worst of it is I lost it in New Jersey. Yes, I'm French, but don't hold it against me. Si vous parlez français, won't you come my way? Yes, I'm French, but don't hold it against me. Yes, I'm French, but don't hold it against me. Si vous parlez français, won't you come my way? Yes, I'm French, but don't hold it against me. Now for a living I sing and I dance. I travel the country and soon back to France. Well, my accent is gone, so sad it makes me. But the worst of it is I lost it in New Jersey. Yes, I'm French, but don't hold it against me. Si vous parlez français, won't you come go.